As the fight begins, both utilize the strengths of their particular elements. Art uses the speed he gains from his lightning element, while Ray tries to counter using the explosive power of the fire element. The fight quickly ramps up as both elements clash, causing a massive explosion. As the fight continues, Art finds himself on the back foot as Ray slowly overwhelms him with a barrage of punches. Art uses his amazing speed to dodge the punches and tries to counter with an uppercut. Ray also prepares to attack with a kick. However, just before their attacks connect, both fighters stop. Both Art and Ray recognize that the fight has reached its end. While training with Virion, Art discovered lightning to be his most successful deviant affinity, as he struggled with the instability of his ice magic and had yet to train with sound and gravity. Nonetheless, he enjoyed boasting about his lightning abilities to his parents. Vincent is left in awe after witnessing Art's remarkable talent, and even Tabitha concedes to his extraordinary abilities. At lunch, the Helsty family is shocked to find out that Art awakened at the age of 3. Vincent even suggests enrolling Art in the Exiris Academy. It is the most prestigious magic institution in the entire continent. Tabitha agrees with her husband and even offers to sponsor Art so he can study free of cost. Alice, however, tries to politely refuse the generous offer, citing the family's already abundant support. She adds that Art is still only 8 and the Academy may not even consider him. Nevertheless, Vincent reassures her that it would not pose an issue as he had conducted business with the Academy director before and can vouch for Art. Before Vincent can elaborate further, Art interjects and expresses his desire to spend some time with his family before contemplating parting ways again to attend the Academy. As Art makes a sudden exit from the dining table, Lilia takes notice of his unusual behavior and decides to follow him. She follows him to the hallway and offers to take him to a great place she knows and takes him to the servant quarters, where the maids and servants are already present, and they all seem delighted to see Lilia. One of the older maids, Maria, even gives Lilia a plate of food, suggesting that it's a regular occurrence where Lilia sneaks away to Maria's quarters to indulge in food without her mother's knowledge. One of the maids confides in Art that Lilia often seeks refuge here when she's feeling stressed. The maid goes on to explain that despite neither Vincent nor Tabitha being mages, they have high expectations for Lilia to awaken as one, which causes her constant anxiety about potentially disappointing them. Art begins to understand the situation. As night falls, Alice and Ray come to bid Art goodnight and inform him that they plan to go shopping together the following day to make up for lost time and strengthen their bond. Art is woken up early by Sylvie. He is visited by Eleanor, who has come to wake him up so they can go shopping. After the morning breakfast, Art heads out accompanied by Alice, Eleanor, Tabitha, and Lilia for shopping as well as to explore the city. The first shop that catches Art's attention is a shop full of mysterious orbs. Tabitha explains that they are called beast cores. They are expensive orbs extracted from mana beasts that can be used to enhance one's power, with the possibility of acquiring a beast will from them. However, they are very expensive, with some costing hundreds or even thousands of gold. Tabitha offers to show Art the Helstia auction house, which often receives many beast cores. Their conversation is interrupted by Lilia. She is eager to take Art to a certain shop. To his horror, it turns out to be a barber shop. Art is reluctant, but eventually gets a new hairstyle with the help of Alice and the rest of the group. Afterward, they continue their shopping tour. While walking through the market, Art spots a group of teenagers in uniforms causing a commotion. Lilia informs him that they are students of Exiris Academy, which is a status symbol, and they are treated like royalty by the common folk. As they continue with their day, they are oblivious to the fact that they are being followed. The stalker appears to have set their sights on Sylvie. Upon their return, Art is taken aback to find Cynthia Goodsky, the director of Exiris Academy, waiting for him as an unexpected guest. The Academy's reputation precedes itself, as it is considered the most prestigious institution for mages who possess both talent and the right background. Anyone who has made an impact in the world has had ties with the Exiris Academy. This is the kind of fame the Academy had, standing tall above all the other countless academies of its kind throughout the continent. And on top of this is the Academy's very own director, Cynthia Goodsky. Despite the palpable tension in the room, Art remains oblivious to the importance of the person standing before him. As Cynthia greets him and extends her hand in friendship, when Art tries to do the same, he is quickly made to bow by Alice as she apologizes to Cynthia for her son's rudeness. Cynthia is quick to forgive Art, expressing her gratitude for Vincent's contributions to the school. Vincent and Tabitha escort her to the courtyard for a demonstration of Art's talents, treating her with utmost deference and respect. As they walk towards the courtyard, Alice drags Art around, but his only concern seems to be his missed dinner. Cynthia takes notice of Sylvie and assumes she is Ray's contracted beast, but Art corrects her by saying she is his bond. Art tells her the story of finding Sylvie in a beast's den. Cynthia is surprised as she has never seen a man-a-beast like Sylvie before. When they arrive at the courtyard, Cynthia notices Art's calm demeanor and starts to wonder if it's his arrogance or confidence, but he is simply focused on his dinner. During his training with Varian, Art mastered the elements of fire and water magic first, followed by wind and earth. For the demonstration, he chooses to use his weaker elements of wind and earth. He starts the fight by using earth magic, which surprises his family. Art destroys the ground around him and kicks a rock in the air, sending it flying towards Cynthia. She is able to easily counter it by creating a swirling wall using her wind magic. Art uses a combination of earth and wind magic to launch himself toward her. Using his own wind magic, he breaks to throw the swirling wall and tries to punch her. However, a small flick of the wrist is all it takes for her to produce a powerful gust of wind, sending him flying backward. Keeping his training in mind, he uses wind magic to orient himself and uses earth magic to suspend a stone in the air to land. The fight continues to intensify. Art dashes in for another attack, but is once again blown away by Cynthia's wind magic. On an ending note, Cynthia decides to try to attack herself. She casts a spell, sending 4 raging tornadoes toward him. Art conjures up his own wind magic to counter, creating winds in the opposite direction to deflect the tornadoes. She is impressed by Art's performance. Despite his overconfidence, she admires his magical and combat prowess. However, she decides to give him one more test, calling it an extra credit. She uses sound magic to send loud, screeching noises toward Art. Despite the agony, Art manages to stay conscious and passes the test. Cynthia shares the good news with Ray, expressing her admiration for Art's use of wind and earth magic and her temptation to teach him herself. However, when Ray asks about Art's use of earth and wind magic, Vincent reveals that he called Cynthia because he believed Art could use fire and lightning magic. Art shocks everyone by revealing that he can use all 4 elements, causing Cynthia to lose her balance and needs Ray's assistance to stand. Art apologizes to his family for keeping his strength a secret, and Cynthia senses that something is bothering him, prompting her to take action. She puts up a barrier around herself and Art so no one can listen in on their conversation. Now able to speak his mind, Art tells her that he revealed his strength because he needs 2 things, power and influence. If she can keep his family safe, he will not only attend the Osiris Academy, but also consider her his benefactor. He tells her that he wants to live his life to the fullest for now, so in 3 years' time he will join the Academy. Until then, he wants to be an adventurer. As Art reveals his desire to go adventuring, his family reacts as expected. Alice, having been an adventurer herself, is filled with worry and adamant about not letting her son face the same dangers she did, especially after the fact that he was gone for so many years. Ray tries to calm her down and suggests that they hear Art out. However, Alice's anger is redirected towards Ray, and she breaks down in tears, remembering the struggles they endured to get to where they are now. Art reaches out and takes his sobbing mother's hand. He tells her that he wants to spend more time with her, but he also wants to experience all that he has missed out on due to his training in the Elven Kingdom. To convince her, he proposes that he can have a supervisor with him during adventuring. Ray jumps in and starts considering potential candidates for this task, earning Alice's wrath for even suggesting the idea of letting their son leave. After a lengthy discussion, they come up with a compromise. Alice gives Art her consent, but with 3 conditions. First, he must wait until his birthday in 3 months. Second, he must have a guard with him at all times. And lastly, he must visit home at least once every 2 months. Ray suggests that the twin horns, who are supposed to be coming soon for an expedition, would be the perfect candidates to be Art's guard. Even Alice is surprised by Ray's sudden genius. Art, on the other hand, can't wait to reunite with the twin horns after so long. While they wait for their arrival, Art decides to have a meeting with Vincent. Vincent is taken aback by the strong presence that Art gives off. He feels more nervous talking to this 8-year-old than when he did during his meeting with the King of Sepin. Art tells him that the reason for this meeting is that he wants Vincent to acquire a few items for him, those being a protective cloak, a sword his size, and a mask capable of altering the wearer's voice. Art puts forward an intriguing proposal as compensation. He has discovered a method to hasten a person's awakening. He was going to help his sister, Eleanor, with it, so he offers to use it on Lilia as well so she can become a mage and attend Osiris Academy. In his previous life, Art was a weak boy who lost the most important person in his life due to his weakness. In his current life, his goal is to become strong, not to seek revenge, but to protect his loved ones. As Art is lost in his thoughts about his plan to help Lilia awaken, his mother returns home from shopping with Lilia and Tabitha, interrupting his chain of thoughts. Upon hearing about Art's plan, Alice and Tabitha become angry, assuming it to be some sort of a joke. However, Art reassures them that he is serious about his plan. With both Lilia and Eleanor present, Art decides to try out his new method. To sense mana, Art teaches them a special breathing technique, which involves slow and deep breaths. The next step is to locate the core fragments in their bodies. Eleanor seems to have an easier time with this step than Lilia. To help them visualize the particles even better, Art pumps some of his mana into their bodies. Once they can see the small particles, he instructs them to focus their thoughts and bind the particles together. Despite his exhaustion from using this method, Art persists, but eventually stops. The anxious parents approach Art, inquiring if Lilia can truly become a mage. Art gives them the good news that although it may take a few years, Lilia should have no issues becoming a mage. Tabitha expresses her joy by embracing Art and breaking into tears. Following this event, Art's life falls into a comfortable routine for the next few months. Every morning, he helps Lilia and Eleanor with their awakening and then focuses on his own training. 2 months pass by in the blink of an eye. The time has finally arrived for the arrival of twin horns. Art waits impatiently at the door, anxious to meet them. As soon as the door knocks, he dashes over to answer. As the door opens, Angela rushes in and quickly hugs him, almost smothering him with her love. As soon as their eyes meet, Durden breaks down into tears as he recalls the memories of the time when he failed to save Art as he fell down the cliff. The next two to enter the house are Helen and Adam. Both of them are also extremely happy to see him. However, the most surprising reaction comes from Jasmine as she comes running in and hugs Art. He starts sobbing uncontrollably while apologizing to him. After things settle down, everyone starts getting ready for the event at the Helsty auction house. While they get dressed, Ray tells Vincent how surprised he is by his son's growth. He mentions the pressure he feels emanating from him every time they spar. It's the pressure similar to facing someone who has fought countless battles. There are even times during their fights when Art trips up as if he is not used to his own body. He starts wondering why this is. However, Vincent dismisses it as early puberty. The whole group, including the twin horns, dress up in fancy black clothing to attend the event. As they leave, Vincent once again thanks Art for what he is doing for Lilia. The group arrives at the auction house in carriages driven by giant lizards, and they are greeted by 2 servants upon opening the carriage door. Art is taken aback by the grandeur of the auction house, which resembles a colossal castle. The event is the 10th anniversary of the Helsty auction house, an occasion that has aroused the excitement of nobles and adventurers alike, as it is a rare opportunity to acquire priceless artifacts kept locked away for this very event. Ray assumes the role of head of security, and Art feels a sense of pride towards his father. The twin horns also depart to assist Ray, while Alice, Tabitha, Lilia, Eleanor, and Art enter the auction house to take their seats. Despite having been a king in his past life, Art is impressed by the interior of the auction house. They proceed to the private viewing room that has been reserved for them, which offers a clear view of all the guests entering the auction house. The chief guests for the event, the King and Queen of Sapin, along with their family, eventually arrive. The king's presence at the event highlights its significance. The group pays their respects by kneeling and introducing themselves to the royal family. The king notices Sylvia, Art's bonded mana beast, and inquires about her. The court's wizard suddenly lets out a surprise scream from the back of the room, having apparently realized Sylvia's true nature. However, the king intervenes and prevents him from further investigating, reminding him that it is neither the time nor the place to study someone's pet. After the wizard apologizes, everyone prepares to take their seats as the event is about to commence. Nevertheless, Art detects something strange about the wizard.